Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of WICMIC. Today, we're going to talk about the Alex Jones trial and a number of humiliations that happened within the case. And man, is this trial entertaining. So, Alex Jones. I was a conspiracy theorist when I was in my early 20s. And Alex Jones, I was actually a huge fan. He was one of my favorites from back then. He would come on to one of the shows I would listen to Coast AM, where you would get your daily dose of conspiracy theories, aliens, and other paranormal activities. Alex Jones was always one of my favorites. His confidence in espousing his theories was unmatched by anybody else. That's the kind of thing that really hooks you in. But yeah, I was really into his theories until I came across a website that actually debunked one of his theories. So, one of the things he would say, and this is almost 20 years ago, folks. One of the things he would talk about constantly is the threat of martial law, and that FEMA was building death camps of some sort where they would house people after martial law would be declared federally. Well, anyway, his evidence for such death camps were these satellite photos, which apparently showed what looked like, hundreds and thousands of coffins just kind of stacked on top of each other. He asserted that these coffins were contracted for use by FEMA in case of, a disaster, et cetera, et cetera. And it was a facility in the United States that these satellite photos were of. So, on this website that debunked the theory, eventually they were able to find out that this facility creates what they call casket covers. And um, casket covers are actually quite common. So, when you go to a funeral, you watch a ceremonial um, event, which is when the casket is lowered into the ground. It's all pretty and nice, and you guys go home after that. But what you guys don't know is that after that, they actually have to properly prepare the casket, and that would include, putting a cover on the casket because these caskets are, very expensive. They want to try to preserve them as best as possible, so they get these plastic hard covers on these caskets. So, with that said, casket covers are actually pretty in high demand. Like, you got to imagine how many people die or get buried every year. And this facility was one of the very few that produced these covers. So, what this article basically lined up was that no, this isn't a government conspiracy facility that creates these coffins for the event of mass, you know, martial law and the kill off of people. Is basically a regular business who sells these things all nationwide, who happens to just store them at this facility. So after I came across that article, that's basically when I was enlightened and soured on Alex Jones pretty quickly after that. Now, that said about my history with Alex Jones, I'm going to play a video. We're going to cut, probably not watch the full thing in the entirety, but it's a video produced by Law and Crime. Law and Crime did televise the Alex Jones trial, and man, it's going to be some entertaining stuff. So here we go, and I will go ahead and parse through it and comment on the particular moments that I find entertaining.
The answers given by those jurors, just the answers. Question 1A, $50,000. Question 1B, $10,000. Question 1C, $50,000. Question 1D, no dollars. Question 2A, $1.5 million. Question 2B, $500,000. Question 3A, $1.5 million. And question 3B, $500,000. Is this your verdict, the 10 of you who signed it?
With the jury awarding the plaintiffs millions in the Alex Jones trial, we take a look back at some of the wildest and most explosive moments.
All right, so what you're reading is, or what you're hearing there is how much was awarded. So there are two awards, compensatory damages and punitive. Compensatory, I believe, didn't exceed 5 million, but man, the punitive damages were out of this world. I believe it's 45 million. And yeah, that's a lot of money. But apparently, according to an economist who was asked about Alex Jones' finances and tried to analyze that, this actually shouldn't be too hard for the guy. He's actually pretty wealthy. So I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead to the next little clip here, because I don't want to include their commentary too much here. I just want to kind of get to the moments. This next one is a doozy. Let's go.
Text to the plaintiff's attorney. Let's watch.
Mr. Jones, you know how an iPhone works, right? You've had iPhone text messaging for several years now.
Yeah.
What does it mean if the messages are in blue? Whose messages are those? Whose phone is this taken from?
I don't know whose phone's taken from. I mean, I turned the phone over and said, take the stuff off.
Can I have you look in the very bottom below the very bottom left corner? Is that your phone number?
Yes. So you did get my text messages. And it said you didn't. Nice trick.
Yes, Mr. Jones.
Oh.
Indeed.
The lawyer is like super amused. I love this part. It's freaking hilarious. So what's going on here is that in discovery, Alex Jones was supposed to produce any communications regarding Sandy Hook, which would include text messages that he sent. But as we can see, the lawyer got a hold of something that was not presented at discovery. So let me go ahead and play it.
You didn't give this text message to me. You don't know where this came from. Do you know where I got this?
No.
Mr. Jones, did you know that 12 days ago, your attorneys messed up and sent me an entire digital copy of your entire cell phone with every text message you've sent for the past 2 years, and when informed, did not take any steps to identify it as privileged or protect it in any way. And as of 2 days ago, it fell free and clear into my possession. And that is how I know you lied to me.
Bam. So here's what happened. There was a deposition, and he was asked directly if he had found any text regarding Sandy Hook. He said no. Apparently, that wasn't true at all. A deposition, by the way, is done under oath, so that's definitely some perjury right there. Another thing I would have to mention here is that wow, that's some pretty gross incompetence from his lawyers there. They accidentally sent him the contents of his entire cell phone for 2 years. And there's another, if you really want to get into it, you could probably find a YouTube video where the lawyers go back and forth about that evidence and how it's able to be used in the court, and how his Alex Jones lawyers did not properly label anything that was sent as privileged. So since that was the case, the lawyer on the plaintiff side got whole access, and he's allowed to use any of it outside of things like medical records and stuff, where he says in the when they go to the judge and talk about the evidence, he said he destroyed anything that had to do with medical records. He deleted. But anyway, when this bombshell dropped, the other crazy thing that happened is the January 6th committee, after hearing that this lawyer has all of his communications via text, they're actually subpoenaing this information. So his lawyers not only failed in this case, but now in the January 6th case, they're also going to use that acquired those acquired texts in that investigation as well. So I wonder if there's going to be any more that comes out of this. It will be pretty interesting if it does.
And you said you didn't have text messages about Sandy Hook. Did you know that?
I told you the truth. This is your Perry Mason moment. I gave them my phone, and then
Mr. Jones, you need to answer the question.
No, I-
Perry Mason moment.
no, I know this happened, but I mean, I told you I gave them the phone over. Just
Just
And
answer
you
the
said-
question.
You said in your deposition, you searched your phone. You said you pulled down the text, did the search function for Sandy Hook. That's what you said, Mr. Jones, correct?
And I had several different phones with this number, but I did, yeah. Well, of course, I mean, that's why you got it.
No, Mr. Jones, that's not why.
My lawyer sent it to you, but I'm hiding it. Okay.
Mr. Jones?
Yeah, so his lawyers did not. Okay, so the lawyers accidentally sent it to them. So this was actually supposed to be presented in discovery, but it was presented at a different time, which is interesting. And they didn't. The reason why this happened is because when this was sent out, Alex Jones' lawyers told the plaintiff's lawyers to disregard the link and that they were going to send them another link. But they actually didn't properly. Telling them to disregard the link does not preclude the lawyers on the plaintiff's side from using whatever link that was sent. They would actually need to go through document by document and present to the plaintiffs which of those items are privileged and couldn't be used. And they had failed to do that. And since they failed to do that, that basically gave the plaintiffs lawyers access and use of everything.
Mr. Jones, that?
Please just answer questions. There's no question. Mr. Bankston also only asks questions.
Sure.
All right,
Wow.
Kathy.
So yeah, he gets grilled pretty hard. You could see totally screwed up. And after that, they go into a path where they ask him about perjury, and it's pretty bad. So let's go into the next clip here. Let me go ahead and play.
Trial is when we saw Alex Jones, who has been adamant in the past. This whole case was that he was adamant that Sandy Hook didn't happen or that he cast doubt on it. To say in open court that he was wrong, that was a big moment. Let's watch.
To refer you to the end of 2014. We've had a video received in evidence of you stating your belief at that time that no one died at Sandy Hook, that the whole thing was fake. Do you understand, as you sit here today, how crazy that is?
I have said before that there's been so many lies and so many things in the past, and I was under a lot of pressure. And I truly, when I said those statements, when I say something, I mean it, that I really could believe that it was totally staged at that point. And I was basing that off of really Steve Puchenik, who has been a very prestigious person.
Do you understand now that it was absolutely irresponsible of you to do that?
It was, especially since I've met the parents, and it's 100% real, as I said on the radio yesterday, and as I said here yesterday, it's 100% real. And the media still ran with lies that I was saying it wasn't real on air yesterday. It's incredible. They won't let me take it back. They just want to keep me in the position of being the Sandy Hook man. My son got confronted yesterday.
Objection, speculation as to what the media wants. Mr. Jones is just being on the show.
Sustained.
So, Kathy, on one hand, I have to say it was, I mean, his best defense and some.
So yeah, that's basically his admittance that, what he was saying is bullshit. However, there was a couple of times during the trial, and they've actually found some evidence that showed that he still believed in the fake Sandy Hook actor theory. But I think that clip's in this video, but let me see what the next clip is here. Oh, here's this one is pretty hairy.
Stopped by one of the plaintiff's attorneys, and fireworks just erupt.
And then slow and autistic.
No, I'm slow enough, sir. Yeah, I'll be honest on here. That's it. I'm not talking to you. You're not doing this. That's not even a thought. That's not the way this goes. We're shutting on him. Why? Because you can't feed them fake videos anymore? No, shut them. That's what you're trying to shut them out. You'll never succeed. Okay.
My son's autistic.
I think I'm autistic too, buddy.
Okay. So what was that all about? That was one of the parents of one of the Sandy Hook victims. Unfortunately, Alex did make fun of him on his show by calling him slow and autistic. Apparently, he was trying to apologize for that, but the lawyer wasn't letting it happen. He was like, you're full of shit. Shut your mouth. You have no business talking to this person. So it's pretty crazy.
Can you explain that to me? Why he did that?
So the exact order of events is Scarlett Lewis actually went up to Alex Jones after in a very kind, loving gesture. As far as I'm a mother, I'd have never walked up to him. So she's a much bigger person. He got done testifying and everybody left. She brought him a bottle of water, and what it looked like, in her other hand, she handed something very small to his other hand. I believe it was like Tylenol, ibuprofen or something, because he'd been complaining about his tooth that he had pulled and that he'd been in pain. I believe that she gave him water and maybe some anti-inflammatory, I don't know, something like that, something over the counter, because he said, "Oh, thank you, I appreciate it." So she made that gesture. Then he takes that opportunity to say to her, and you can't hear everything, but you can tell it's obviously he's apologizing for whatever. We don't really know, right? And then,
Well, he's probably apologizing because he knows he's going to get his ass handed to him in court. So who knows? All right, let's go ahead and get to the next clip here.
They have gotten into some heated exchanges. Let's take a look.
You believe everything you say is true, but it isn't. Your beliefs do not make something true. That is what we're doing here. Just because you claim to think something is true does not make it true. It does not protect you. It is not allowed. You are under oath. That means things must actually be true when you say them. Don't talk. You're already under oath to tell the truth. You've already violated that oath twice today in just those two examples. It seems absurd to instruct you again that you must tell the truth while you testify. Yet here I am. You must tell the truth while you testify. This is not your show.
I got to tell you, I've never seen this kind of interaction really between a defendant and a judge.
Let's see.
What was your reaction?
What's going on here?
there's so much to unpack in just what we just saw. One, the judge says on the record that Alex Jones has lied at least 2 times under oath. I would say that's perjury charges coming, or should be.
Yeah, so as I said, he was straight up caught lying at least twice. I think one of them had to do with the phone records, and I don't know what the other one was about. But man, this is a interesting trial. Here's something pretty gnarly. Let's go ahead and get to that.
Watching the way he's been behaving, the question is, does he take this trial seriously? And that was brought into question.
Judge Maya Gamble comes from CPS, who has been exposed for human trafficking and working with pedophiles.
That's what you mean
Wow.
when you say you're taking this seriously.
I take this as serious as cancer.
So what happened there is Alex Jones is still doing his show while this trial is going on. And apparently he started talking shit about the judge during the trial, as that's ever going to turn out great for him. Because look what they did. They just showed the footage here in court. It's so ridiculous. He even got caught talking about the trial as well, which he's not really supposed to do on his show. I think there's a couple of court rules which prohibit him from doing so. But yeah, the guy just can't reel it in, not even for a second.
Cash.
Try the next
He
clip.
needs to maintain his support from people, and if he has a product that people respond to, as outrageous as it is, he's going to keep feeding it. And look, I think, Kathy, this might have all started with the infamous gum incident. Let's turn to that.
Spit your gum out, Mr. Jones.
It's not gum.
What is it? Because you're not allowed food or gum of any kind in the courtroom.
I had my tooth pulled a week and a half ago, and I had some gauze in there earlier, and it's been causing me to have some pain.
So you're chewing on your gauze?
Would you like me to show you?
No, I
Yeah,
just
here.
want you to answer my question.
No, I was massaging the hole in my mouth with my tongue. Actually, right here.
I don't want to see
All right.
the inside of your mouth.
Oh no, there's no gum. Hole.
Sit down.
I know Alex Jones is like a big child. The judge just wanted a yes or no answer, and he goes and proceeds and showing the judge his mouth, and what she totally doesn't want to see. Yeah, Alex is he's pretty unhinged. Let's see if we can get another clip here.
You testified just today that you were a guest or a co-host with Mr. Jones on Tuesday. Is that right?
Yes,
And you testified that you did a show and then a second show. Is that right?
yes.
And what were the topics of those two shows? I mean, were any of the topics of those two shows this trial?
Yes.
Did you and Mr. Jones talk about anything that happened at the trial?
I don't recall exactly what was discussed.
Are they still available for viewing?
I believe so.
So you think you talked about the trial without talking about what happened at the trial?
I'm not sure.
Well, you just told me that the topic included this trial, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm asking you, did you talk about what happened in this courtroom? And you said, I don't remember.
Well, I just don't recall the exact details.
I'm not asking you for any details. Did you talk about things that happened in this courtroom?
Probably, yes.
Didn't Mr. Reynal inform you that you were under the rule?
What rule?
So is that a no? Did he have a conversation with you about being under the rule?
He did. He told me I not to watch any other witness testimony.
Did he not tell you you weren't to speak with any other witness?
I don't believe so.
Did he not tell you you weren't supposed to discuss anything that happened in this courtroom during the trial?
And so from there, she turned her attention to Alex Jones's attorney and Dino Wright.
Yeah, so basically, they were still talking about this on his show. That's how he got caught, and that's why the judge is questioning him about it. And like he says here, she asks Alex Jones' lawyer about the whole issue that happens.
Right now.
Mr. Reynal, on Tuesday, when you invoked the rule in this case, I also, in addition to reading what I just read the following portion. Counsel, inform your other witnesses that the rule has been invoked and the effect of the rule. Did you hear me say that on Tuesday?
I did, Your Honor.
Did you follow my instructions?
Clearly not the way Your Honor intended. I can assure Your Honor that they did not discuss anybody's
It will be easy to find out if they discussed the case, won't it?
Certainly, Your Honor, I misunderstood based on my experience and my practice. That
Because you're just a brand new lawyer, right? Enough with the aw shucks. I don't know the rules of court.
I understand.
Now, I want to make it clear. Anyone who might be a witness needs to be informed tonight about the rule, that it has been invoked and what it means, which is that they will not speak to any other person except one of the lawyers, not a party, lawyer, about anything having to do with this case and this trial. Do you understand, Mr. Reynal?
Crystal.
Thank you.
Do not get on her bad.
Yeah, so man, she really dressed down that lawyer. But yeah, this is a really entertaining case. Like I said, I think the biggest bombshell was the whole catching Jones lying about the text messages. And there is a longer video about it, which is pretty interesting, where he goes into a little bit in depth about the text, and we can hear Alex Jones just like weaseling, with language. He's not giving very straightforward answers. But anyway, I'm glad you're watching. Make sure you like and subscribe the video and click the little bell for notifications. Also, just to let you know, me and Andrew are going to tackle an reality TV show that premiered back in the early 2010s called The OCD Project. Yeah, we're going to talk about this show in 2 sessions. It should be pretty interesting. I remember when I first started watching it, I was amazed on the OCD as a disease, and it's an interesting show. But anyway, please like and subscribe, share. If you have anything to say about whether you think this trial is hilarious or not, please write it down in the comments. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. And you guys have a great night. Thank you again for watching WickMick.